Let's do the today lesson. I plan it for the today lesson. I plan it like in class programming, but it is independent kind of programming. So I posted 2 exercises, but I will be available during class time. I posted chat room here, and the chat room, I will keep chat room open till 10 o'clock. In case if you have questions. But before doing so, I will discuss exercises and assignment. Assignment is I will just remind quickly. So today lesson is about programming, like practicing in programming. I posted 2 exercises, but you may choose to do assignment instead. And it is fine if you choose to do assignment instead. These assignments are not for, exercises are not for grade, but assignment is for grade. Assignment is due in 1 week from now. It means you really have to start doing it. If you didn't start doing it, you really need to start now. Because although assignment 3 is not very long, it may contain very tricky parts in it. Not because it's hard to understand, not because it's hard itself, but it is requires thinking how it is done in student data and how to apply the same logic into different contexts. So in this case, it does require thinking. And when we apply similar logic but not exactly the same way, we may make mistakes and we need time to fix it. So for this reason, please start doing it as soon as you can, like today, or like even in the class, if you didn't start doing it. If you finish assignment 3, cool, there are 2 exercises. And please do these exercises anyway, even if you choose to do assignment in class. When you finish assignment, please do exercises. These exercises do not expect any new information, so there is no lecture today. But exercise 9.1 contains some information within it. So you will learn something extra in addition to what you learned in class. Particularly what you will learn from this exercise. When I posted examples on Sheridan server, I provided links. It was random card link, and in the previous week it was also a link to multiplication quiz. So when you click on, you notice it's not that link. That was to GitHub. Am I right? Yeah, this is to GitHub. There is also a link to it running on Sheridan web server. Where is that? It's not here, it's probably in previous weeks because I was reusing this. It is anyway. 1 second. Let's go with first. Let's go with week 9. Random card. Random card Angular has no, it is also to GitHub. Where did I put links? 1 second. This has link. It goes to Sheridan server. So when I posted some web apps, I posted on Sheridan web server. And this app is It's regular JavaScript with jQuery. It is obvious, reasonably obvious how to do it. You zip folder associated with your app that contains index.html, folders for CSS and JavaScript, and you upload it to this server. It is cPanel panel, using cPanel interface, and you unzip it using cPanel interface. So in this case, if it is regular JavaScript and HTML, it is straightforward. You essentially zip those folders and upload it and unzip. When you want to post something that requires compilation, it is less straightforward. Because when you run project, it doesn't run release. It runs something intermediate, like in debugging piece. And you really want to post release because it's optimized and the smallest in size. If you open folders for your Angular projects, let me find where they are. Okay. Projects Angular. For example, project that was explained in the previous class, flowers 9. Properties. This is not that bad because it's probably I didn't compile this one. This what we clone it in class. So properties. This is not compiled. If I compile it, it will be huge. Here it is. Size on disk 279 megs. So it is insane, obviously. And we shouldn't zip this number of megabytes. It is like quarter gig, and upload it there because this is a lot of it is just intermediate files. We don't need to deal with it in release. And look how many files it contains. 34,271 files. So, obviously, zipping an entire project and uploading, this is a bad idea. First, it is huge, insane number of files. Second, it will simply not work. It's simply not work because it's not designed to work this way. But we need to understand how to deal with this situation. And obviously there is a way to deal with this situation because I posted and it works. If I go to my root folder and I go to Angular, there is a flowers 9G here, it's running, and this is Angular project. And here it is. If I go there, I will see random card project. It's also in Angular, it's working. And they're not huge. If I remember uploading, it is like regular website, small website size. So it's definitely not hundreds of megs. It's less than 1 meg even. So it's good to learn how to do it. It is a little bit server specific, but idea is quite similar. So if you post your Angular project on an HTML server, you go through the same steps. If you post it on cloud, steps may be different. Plus, if it is cloud, there are many ways of doing exactly the same thing. In particular, if you want to post Angular project on Amazon Cloud, process is different from described today. It is quite interesting. You post your project on GitHub as the source code. It can be private or public, but if it is your code for some website, it is probably better to do private, right? Because you don't want everyone to look at your code. So you can post it as private or public repository, but probably it's private. And you go to your Amazon account and you link this source code to Amazon account and do some configuration steps. And what Amazon Cloud would do, it will log in to your project, grab the source code, compile, and post it. So it is a lot simpler. Then you just do this build step yourself and upload it to Sheridan. But again, Amazon Cloud account has free trial time. After this free trial time expires, you will have to pay for it. So if you want to practice with it with Amazon, cool, but just be aware that when free trial time expires, you just delete it. You don't keep it running, otherwise it will keep billing you for it. And obviously, if we run on cloud things, we have a lot very different options available. And the one option that I described with Amazon, when you post your code on GitHub as a source code and link it, and it will go there, compile and post it in the place, of course, with your configuration. It is just one of the several options. What I want you to do is to create for the first exercise. For the first exercise, please go through random card example. I explain it in the class, and it is posted here. And do something similar. It is exercise 9.1. In exercise 9.1, I'm asking you to create a project with 3 dice images. It is fixed to 3. And because if it is not fixed to 3, you will have to deal with loop of displaying images in a row. But when it is fixed to 3, you already know that there are 3, you can hard code it. If you want a challenge, after doing 3, just change it to how I did it in JavaScript. So we have an option like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number of dice that you are using is your option. But first, let's hard code it just for 3, so you know how to do it, and you do, because it is simpler than random card, right? Because random card has some internal logic to resolve what is a card name. In this case, you just hard code with 3 random number generators between 1 and 6 that insert image. There's no name for it. So there's no difficulty to build a name. Extra step, of course, you need to add numbers and display total. So for this first step, build this from scratch. Maybe with just 1 die and add 2 after that, and make it work. What is next? This gives you command line how to build release, production release. It is you open terminal inside of your project and you type this. This name of the folder, it's up to you, whatever you like. If you don't create extra folder here, it's also fine. Just make sure you create a folder for your app. Because on the server, when you go here, you can have only one root location. Right? If you hog this root location with your app, you cannot post anything else. Just make sure that you have some folder for your app, and this is optional. You build release. After this, you browse within the folders of your app and find folder dist. It means distribution. Rename it to the folder how you want it to be on server, like this, dice exercise. And zip it. Make sure that when you zip it, you have subfolder in it, because again, when you unzip it, you don't want your files scattered around your folders when you upload it on Sheridan web server. When you zip it, double-click the zip and make sure that you have subfolder with this name within the zip. It is precaution because when you upload it and unzip it, you don't want this stuff scattered around. So you have a subfolder. And after do so, this will be subfolder. You go there and it will work, if you did everything right. So practice it with this, at least that, and at least if you are too lazy to do 3 dice, which is bad idea, let's code with 3 dice. It's not that difficult. It's simpler than random card. So if you're too lazy to do with 3 dice, or you don't have time for it, another option, you don't have time for it, please do this exercise at least with random card, because random card is already given code. So you know how to build production and upload it. Again, we cannot really do this with just zipping entire folder without building production, because this will be literally like 20-something thousand files and 20-something megabytes, 200 meg of megs on size. But when you build production and zip it, you will see that it's very little, because it will be just pure JavaScript and pure HTML. It will be less than 1 meg. Questions? So maybe at least do it with random card project, which is given, and practice with doing with 3 hard-coded dice. When you finish with 3 hard-coded dice, and not hard-coded, they are changing when you click run. I mean, number is hard-coded, that it is 3. So you don't have to use loop, to display it. Well, once it is done, if you want extra challenge, do random this dice roll exercise with random number of, not random, with a fixed number of dice chosen from select option. It is extra challenge. It is not shown here. I discussed this in class. Dice images, it is exactly the same dice images as dice roll example. In Spring Boot, you can get it from there, or you can just download it here from zip. Exercise 9.2, it is more challenging than 9.1, and it is directly related to the project explained in the class as the previous lesson. But it is simpler, because in the class we had table clickable, and in the class example flower, we had table clickable. When we click on image, it opens details. But this is not doing it. It is just loading JSON as a table, and this is it. It's not clickable. So it is simpler, and it's not using it is not using navigation. In Angular, it is called routing. It's not using routing because it is just one page. Speaking about routing, if you want to upload project created with Angular to Sheridan website, and this project is using routing, you need to provide extra configuration file, because it won't work if you don't. It is server specific. This project is not using routing, so you can upload it the same way as dice example or random card example. What would be issue if your project is using routing and upload it as it is? If you go to subfolder of your project, like virtual folder, and click reload button, it will show error message. In order to avoid this error message on the reload button, you need to do extra configuration file. Since these exercises do not involve routing, please do this exercise, creating program, building release and uploading to Sheridan server to make sure that it works, without extra configuration, because there's no need for it. Plus extra configuration is another option to, another, say, possibility to make mistakes. So make sure that you understand this process and it works without routing. And I will provide another instructions in written form, similar to exercise 9.1, how to build release and upload it with extra configuration file. That would be required for routing if you post it on Sheridan server. Questions? When this exercise asks you to load JSON, and you need to have JSON file for it, you can browse these folders and find it. How to do it? Control-Shift-I. I stands for inspection, and you go to source. Main.js. So it is in data subfolder JSON. You can just copy paste this content if you want. It is a lot simpler than for flowers, because it is in-class exercise. So obviously it will take less time to figure out how to load it, and then in flower example. Or you can download source code from GitHub for this project. And I provided link to this project on Slate. This one. This is a literal project as it is running on Sheridan website, and you can get JSON file from here, or you can clone this project and get whole entire piece. So please do these exercises either before assignment or after you finish assignment 3. These exercises are not for grades. It is for practicing, but it's important to code, starting even with simple examples, so you know the approach. You have the feeling how it works, and you have this experience with resolving issues when they arise. If exercise 9.2 looks like a lot for today, postpone it, but please do it. But seriously consider doing exercise 9.1, because it's not that difficult. And it is hands-on experience with Angular, and you can do it within the class time. It's not that big. Again, if you want to do assignment 3 instead and do exercise 9 afterwards, it is fine with me. Just do exercise 3 and do this later. I think it is the point where I want to wrap instruction, except I want to remind about exercise 3, assignment 3. And when you do assignment 3, please make sure that everything works without security. Because security is additional restriction on top of the previous code. And if previous code does not work, additional security restriction will not make it work. But if you add extra security, or if you add security on top of the code that doesn't work, and it doesn't work after security, you don't know what's the reason. It's not working due to security, or it's not working because code is broken. For this reason, when you do assignment 3, please finish everything, make sure that it works perfectly, without any security added. And after everything is clickable, browsable, looks the way you want, add security to this project. And if it doesn't work after you add security, you know that issue is within security. Otherwise, security configuration. Otherwise, it will be hard to figure out what is the reason why the project doesn't work. So this is what I wanted to tell about posted exercises and about assignment. I will be in the chat room till the end of the lesson, till 10 o'clock. In case if you have any questions, and probably you will, related to assignment and exercises. So these exercises are designed so you can do it based on your previous knowledge from previous classes. They don't contain any extra information except how to post it on Sheridan server, which is provided as direct instruction, like type and press enter. So it shouldn't be a problem to figure out. So please do it. And I will be in current questions chat room until 10 o'clock. Any questions now in virtual classroom? I don't see questions in the virtual classroom. It means maybe you will come up with questions later. And if you come up, get some questions later, I'm opening this right now, and it will stay open till 10 o'clock. And sharply at 10 o'clock, I will close and pick my stuff and drive to campus, because I will have another lesson, the same lesson, but in class, starting at 12 o'clock, 12 p.m., 2 hours after this lesson ends. 2 hours is reasonable time to get there, plus extra half an hour to have spare time. Questions? Since no questions, I will be here. Please do the exercises, and I will answer your questions here. And I will close virtual classroom. I will stop recording, and I will close virtual classroom. And again, it's nice to see you now and late next week. So we don't have this strike, and this is great. We don't have strike. So see you, and I will be here.